What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. Everything in the macro is lined up for crypto to absolutely moon. We just need Bitcoin to show one small sign of strength. This isn't about the next leg up. It's the setup for the most explosive phase of this cycle. So let's get into the video. All right, everybody, we have like 9 topics to cover in this video. So make sure we are watching all the way to the end. Some of this stuff you will see I do cover in other videos this week. So I'll try to move a little bit quicker through things, but also at the same time, I want the video to do well independently. If you do need more insight, you can literally go look at the thumbnail on whatever videos I've posted this week. And if you see the chart that you want to see, go ahead and click it. It'll be much more in depth. But let's get into it. First up, Russell 2000 breakout on the monthly time frame. We've talked about it. You guys know it. We all love it. We've all waited for it. And we finally got it. Russell 2000 broke out on the monthly time frame. Did it feel like it immediately? No. Has it been crappy and horrendous in crypto? Have we had massive liquidations? Have alts dumped 50%? Has all of this bad stuff happened? Yes. But we got a breakout on the Russell 2000 on the monthly time frame. So are you gonna listen to noise or data? Is kind of what it boils down to, right? We have our bear market triggers. We have our triggers to get out of the crypto market. Until it happens, why even worry about it? Honest to God, why even worry about it? And let's actually look in the market and see if we're seeing any dynamics show up that maybe could be opposite of what everybody is saying and opposite of what price is even currently reflecting. That's kind of what investing is about. That's what forecasting is about. Again, I have Bitcoin down here. Just quick run through. Bitcoin down here. When the Russell 2000 has broke out of previous all-time highs in the past, where have we been at within the Bitcoin cycle, right? Final kind of parabolic rise, altcoins going crazy, all of those things. Right, we have 3 examples to look at on Bitcoin in here. I could throw altcoins up for 2017 and 2021, but just not going to do that right now. We do need, this is a point I made in that standalone video that I'm talking about, we do need to kind of get out of here a little bit. I don't want to just shop around for an entire month. Previously, you've done a decent job of like getting a decently explosive move out of it. That's kind of been the common thing, and I think that's why sentiment across crypto has been bad. And even in the Russell 2000 on its breakout leading up to it, we did see a lot of chop, or more chop than we would expect. So getting some sort of move out of here this month, I think would be the final little piece of confluence, and not even piece of confluence, because as it moves up, you're going to see that reflected in crypto prices. So I think you guys know what I'm talking about here. I think you guys know what's what with this chart. We'll go ahead and move on to the next one. Number 2, stocks are holding strong. I have this up here because for whatever reason, it's contrarian to popular belief that stocks are doing well and nothing is wrong. Okay, I mean, look at the monthly close we just had on the S&P 500. Looks perfectly fine to me. Perfectly fine to me. Not the greatest weekly close. Maybe that's why people are fearful, but really nothing too crazy in here. Small gap below to kind of fill out. Gaps don't have to be filled in general, but on the higher time frames, right? On these higher time frames, nothing to worry about. You'll notice, in here you start getting monthly candles that look like this. You start getting monthly candles that look like that, right? You get massive pullbacks, you get whatever have you, then we can talk about being a little bearish. But when the monthly candle looks like this and people are somehow still scared of the stock market, okay, this is the stock market fear and greed index, then I have to kind of come in and be like, hey, stocks are holding strong. Not sure why people are thinking this. Just does not look like a top in stocks is in quite yet. Do I think a top is close? Yes. Do I think other stock indexes like the Russell 2000 are going to catch up to the S&P 500, are going to catch up to the Dow Jones in relative performance? And do I think crypto is going to catch up? Yes, absolutely. When that happens, that's when a top is most likely to come in, right? These are how these things work. Tops don't come in until the market is massively overly euphoric, and there has been some sort of slide down the risk curve. If you guys don't know what the risk curve is, as markets become more crowded, markets become more heavy with just oversaturated, right? People have to look for, hey, this pumped, all of these safe bets already made me money. Where do I have to put my money now? And that's that risk curve I'm talking about. And down the risk curve is sliding for more risk, but you also are making more gains by taking on that more risk. That's not a given, but that's what you try to focus on, is if you are going to take more risk to get more gains. So when it comes to things catching up and stuff like that, pretty confident. But that also coincides with this. If we were in extreme greed and we had a monthly candle that looked like that bad boy in there, then yes, I would probably be saying potential top, or look out for this or look out for that, be warned, things of that nature. But it's simply not the case right now. The next trade, or the next point, I guess, number 3. The Russell 2000 catch-up trade is currently live. Okay, I have a full video on this week. Russell 2000, again, finally, and I just talked about it even just now. Russell 2000 finally broke out on the monthly time frame above its 2021 all-time high. Right now, I just have the 2-week just to show it a little bit cleaner. But when I say catch-up trade, like, what am I talking about? As you can see, most of these indexes kind of topped within a window, within an area of time. This one made a newer high, this one actually made a lower high, this one made equal highs, but they all kind of topped out around the same time. So taking that top in 2021, just drawing a little line across and looking at when these things broke back above its all-time high. Okay, all of them are kind of in this November of 23 to December of 23 phase. Again, we can point, you can look where everything was at during this time. All right, Russell 2000, I mean, still catching a move, but not even breaking out of its kind of bear market range that it was in, right? These bear market lows down here, even though in this area, right, we were getting out of it on the other indexes. All right, continue to just slide down. We get the breakout. Russell 2000 does not. We both get, or we all, no matter what market, get the tariff pullback kind of situation. So now where are we currently? We've had the Russell 2000 breakout. We've had all these other indexes go on parabolic rises, go crazy, things like that. What are we expecting when I say catch up? Do I mean that the Russell 2000 is going to go from $2,500 or wherever it's at right now to what is this over here? To $25,000, where the NASDAQ is right now? That's not what I mean by catch up. But I am talking about relative performance and outperformance, meaning that in the time that, let's say, NASDAQ is going to go for a little basic head and shoulders kind of topping pattern. Well, the Russell 2000 might do that, right? Outperformance. Even, this one might be higher too. This little shoulder in here. But this peak is gonna be higher percentage wise than this one higher than this one higher than this one, before that kind of ultimately comes in. So that's what I'm talking about when I say catch up, is just outperformance by the Russell 2000 compared to these other indexes. And that is a topic that we cover in plenty of other videos this week. So I won't beat a dead horse there. Just make sure you go check those out. Next up, gold cooling off, finally, right? We've talked about this. We've shown this chart a bunch of times. We all know that, gold needs to cool off a little bit, right? It doesn't need to crash, and it doesn't need to, do something specific for crypto to do well. We just need to see it not soaking up all of the extra liquidity. Last month, maybe 2 weeks ago, whenever it was, 3 weeks ago, we did finally hit this 3.618 extension. It took like 2 weeks, right? We closed above it, then we closed under it. We finally got a little bit of momentum to come off of gold. And in doing that, we closed the month underneath the 3.618 fib. If you guys didn't believe me that, these fibs work, I feel like this is pretty clear. This is like a 22-year range that formed, and the fibs still work, and it's on gold, right? Any asset, any time frame, higher time frame, the better. But good to see this kind of monthly close in here. Not to say gold actually up right now, but not to say that we don't get chop around here. It doesn't have to tank back down for crypto to do well. It just needs to not be the main focus of what everybody wants to invest in at the time. If it's soaking up the eyeballs and the money and this and that, yeah, it's gonna hurt crypto. All right, this is a big chart. This is a banger of a chart. I'm saying that I definitely recommend watching this video, right? If you're gonna watch one other video this week besides this one, watch my video on the S&P 500 ratio compared to the Russell 2000. I will try to give a brief description of what's going on, but I think it is a lot better if we just focus on it on its own video, which I do have. But anywho, we are on the monthly time frame. This is the S&P 500 priced in the Russell 2000. So what do we want to see from this chart? Okay, we would like to see this chart start falling. When this chart starts falling, it means the Russell 2000 is outperforming the S&P 500. What does that mean for us? Well, if the Russell 2000 is kind of the extra liquidity sponge of the stock market, indexes, okay, that means that crypto is also one of those sponges as well. And then even within crypto, when there's excess upon excess liquidity, that's when you get your alt season, that's when you get this, that's when you get that. We've talked about the relationship. We've literally just talked about it in this video with Russell 2000 and crypto, right? So I don't want to dive too much into that. And then in here, you talked about momentum and things like that. So this is a little bit combining both of those things together. So again, we want to see this chart rolling over. We want to see the Russell 2000 start outperforming the S&P 500. And when have we seen this in the past? This is a monthly time frame. This is not every single cross. I did not add these lines to every single red cross in here. For this video, I go in depth in the other one, so go check it out. You show all the information. But for this video specifically, we want to look at when momentum has shifted while we got a breakout on the Russell 2000. So when we get a monthly breakout on the Russell 2000 and momentum had shifted, what happened in the crypto market? We only have 3 previous examples to look at. We have 2013 to 14, 2016 to 18, and 2020 to 2021. Really interesting because that coincides with every single crypto cycle, not only just every single crypto cycle, but the euphoric phase of each single crypto cycle. When I say euphoric phase, I'm not just talking about Bitcoin. I am talking about altcoins as well. Like, I am not sure if it gets any cleaner than this. Russell 2000 has broken out and we have a cross, right? Bitcoin moves up. Russell 2000 starts falling. Momentum crosses back up on this chart here, right? And we're in a Bitcoin bear market. Some of these crosses come in very close to the actual high of the market, like literally timing it to the candle. And you do have to understand this is a monthly candle, so these things aren't confirmed until the end of the month. So I'm looking at January here, but really you wouldn't have been able to confirm this to get out of the market until January 31st. But the point still stands, right? Timed the exact top. 2 of the 3 times gave us the signal that euphoric phases, right? Final phases, parabolic phases were inbound. And we just flashed the same signal again, obviously not just on the momentum, but also on the fact that when this happened, right? Russell 2000 breaking out, right? Coincided with that. These are the only 3 examples that we have. So giving us an idea of the window that we are currently in. And yeah, I think this will be a big chart that we definitely cover more in the future. Just quick little recap. Point number 6, sentiment is dead. It's dead. Market is super extremely fearful. And then and then moving on to the next point, super simple. So number 6, sentiment is dead, right? You guys know this. You guys are all sad. We're all sad. We're all crappy. I'm recording this at 1 a.m. while the crypto market dumps, while I've been losing money for a month straight. It's not fun. It sucks. but we have a lot of positive to look at, even if it doesn't feel like it. And fear can be a positive depending how you look at it, right? Sentiment is in the absolute gutter. I think the more interesting one to me is actually the stock market fear and greed index, which I showed earlier in this video. But like, how do you make new all-time highs? How do you close the month at all-time highs? How do you have a strong monthly close? How do you have no structures broken, yet you're fearful? Doesn't really quite make sense. I was even talking to a friend today, and he was like, yeah, I just don't know. I don't know about the stock market right now. Everything's so high. Like, I'm not even sure what to buy. I'm not even sure about this. Blah, 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 blah. Right. Number one, that ties into the risk curve stuff that I was talking about earlier in this video. So, just so you know, I'm not BSing that. But two, I'm like, why all of a sudden are people obsessed? Like, you guys, retail has never cared if something is pumped. They always buy things that pump. They don't care if it pumps, stops pumping, whatever have you. So there's something going on, whether it's headlines or narratives or news or just the fact that retail is getting wrong-footed again. But the stock market specifically having fear at new all-time highs is just insane to me, and not a dynamic you see when something is about to top. It just doesn't make sense. Next up, Bitcoin's structure has held, right? It sucks. It's not fun, but there's no reason to get bearish as structures hold, right? If we look at here and talk about structure, right? Add that bad boy in there. Yeah, if this thing flipped below, that's when we kind of start talking about bear market vibes. A little bit of a bear market vibe. This in here would be like our 98K level, right? Which we've shown a few times, right? Very similar, right? Different on this end, and we did get a bigger pump out of here to give us a little bit of more room for when we did get down there. But you guys can say, like, pretty similar. Don't overthink this stuff, right? Even now, like, we're dumping tonight as I speak, but unless we lose $98,000, like, there's no material change to what's actually going on in the market at that time. It just doesn't make sense to get bearish, right? I want to point out too, right? Weekly candle just opened a few hours ago. So yes, the weekly candle does look like this currently, but depending when you're watching this video and what happens, it could look completely different. Right? If we look at, the 2-week candle, every time we've gotten into this box, this little area, it's been bid up before the weekly close, or before the weekly or 2-week weekly on the lower time frames, but whatever have you. 4 months of accumulation within this Bitcoin range. So as long as this structure is holding, guys, there's just no real reason to even be upset or worried or take any action or things like that, right? It's just not any point, in my opinion. Next up, Ethereum's monthly close, right? So it took out this low, but closed above it. What happens when that happens? On my indicator, we are now live for a swing trade. Not only a swing trade, but a monthly to weekly swing trade, which is very, very high probability and is kind of the better risk to reward. But we're talking about a target getting us in, around, or near $5,000 Ethereum again, which is prices we haven't seen since August, beginning of September, whatever have you. I do want to point out, this is not live right now. We do need a kind of swing to show up, like a swing within a swing on the lower time frame. I'll try to update you guys. If you guys are in my free Discord, I'll definitely make sure I update you guys when this trade does trigger, if it triggers, things like that. If we just dump from here and take out the lows and take out 98K, obviously, yeah, guys, it's not gonna trigger. But if we can kind of get something shaken out in here, get some moves to the upside, things like that, I will definitely keep you guys posted. But strong monthly close from Ethereum, in my opinion, holding all the levels you wanted it to hold, introducing a monthly to weekly swing model to the occasion, to the situation. So that's nice to see, and I think that Could, once it triggers, definitely help us. All right, number 9. This is a long video, but as much as people love to talk about Bitcoin dominance, guys. I literally just peek in at Bitcoin dominance every once in a while, if I'm being honest. I'm looking at completely different things, but I know it's easy for people to understand. I know people can relate to it, so we'll talk about it. But on the monthly time frame, we have not regained any momentum. Even with 2 months of up now on Bitcoin dominance, we have not regained any momentum currently. All right, on the lower time frames, I have been in the camp that we would see something like this, right? Retracements. I've been telling people, on your altcoins, on that November 10th, or not November, October 10th wick, right? That came in. Yes, something like this is possible on your altcoins to get back into those wick levels, fill out the wick a little bit, find some more demand before moving higher. Fully possible. And that's kind of been my case on Bitcoin dominance as well. We've literally just been in a slow grind really since end of September. Being in this grind, having this wick to the upside, potentially fill some of this out. We'll see what happens when we get there. But on the monthly time frame, haven't had anything materially change when it comes to momentum or structure or anything like that, even getting a little rejection. But I think with the other things that we're seeing, if we can get Bitcoin to actually break out, and if Bitcoin needs to climb all the way up here in order to actually get a breakout from 125K or get some sign of strength to confidence actually returns in the market before this rolls over, then it is more than welcome. It's not the end all be all, especially if Bitcoin's falling and Bitcoin dominance is going up. That's a little different. We'll monitor that kind of situation. But yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys. 9 things to kind of be hopeful for, even in the midst of, let's see, I think I showed this Bitcoin chart at the beginning, but even as we're dumping on a Sunday, right? Even as we're dumping on a Sunday, we're holding 98K. We have an entire week. We just dumped on Sunday. We have an entire week to recover. Okay, there's nothing to get overly bearish or stressed out about. I'm not saying that I'm immune to it. This stuff still stresses me out. Stresses me out because of where we're at. We have appreciated a lot. Tops do come in after you appreciate. So it does suck to think that this thing could be over, losing levels like this. But until it happens, guys, and dumping early in the week and things like that, it's really not going to be the biggest deal, in my opinion, especially with good monthly closes that we had and beginning of the month volatility just all around. So anyways, guys, hopefully you guys stay safe out there. I'll try to release this one earlier in the week. I think that's a good place for it. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.